This is Aurora with Supercharged Math. Today we are going to dive into Cartesian plane graphing. So the horizontal is the x-axis. Wherever you draw the x, that indicates the positive direction. Okay, so you only have to do this once. You don't have to go negative x, positive x, just one x and you're done. Vertically, typically that's going to be y. Again, wherever you put the y, that indicates a positive direction. The origin is where the two will intersect. Okay, so this is a point that is 0 on the x and 0 on the y. Okay, so that's called the origin. Say this is point A. I would like to know what are the coordinates for A. So we always start at the origin, put your finger on it, and then we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, and then stop. So we always do x first, and then we do y. So we have we did 1, 2, 3, and then stop. I'm right underneath the A. Okay, so I'm going to say this is going to be a 3, comma. And then we're going to go up until we hit A. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So A is located at 3, 5. So if I gave you 3, 5, everybody would put A right there. You see how that works? All right, let's say I would like to do this point over here. Okay, now this is in a different quadrant. This is quadrant number, let me do that in a different color. This is quadrant 1. That means positive x, positive y. Okay, and then it goes counterclockwise. This is quadrant 2. Write this on your chart. Okay, so this means negative x, positive y. So anything that's in this part of the graph. Quadrant 3, which we'll see in a minute, this is negative x and negative y. So both numbers are going to be negative. And quadrant 4. And we use Roman numerals capitalized like that. Okay, so let's take a look at B. All right, where is B? Start at the origin. Okay, if you need the steps, they're written down here. Start at the origin. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to move x first. Okay, so we go tick, 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 and you go right over to, and then you're going to drop down, right? So you're going to go right over to, you're hovering over the point you want. What number is that? Can anybody tell me? What number do we have right there? Yeah, -7, excellent. Okay, and then we're going to go down until we hit B. How many jumps do we go down? So first we start at the origin, we go to right above it, and then we go 1, 2, 3. Okay, does it matter which order I put these in? What if I put -3, -7? Would that be a different place on the grid, or would that be okay? That'd be different, right? Yeah, exactly. You got it. Okay, so there's B. All right. Tell me about C. I'll give you 8 seconds. What do you think the ordered pair is? What are the coordinates for C? Yes, it does matter. Yes, you're absolutely right. Okay. Yes, the negative sign does matter. It does. Everything from the origin to the right is positive, and from the origin to the top of the page is positive. Okay, so these are both positive. These are both negative, and you got to be good at both. Okay, good. I'm getting some people saying, good. So we're going to go over until we get to the 6, which is right above. So we go over 6 and down 7. So to the right is a positive 6, down is a -7. Did you get that? Yay! Okay, awesome. All right, how about we do it the other way? I'm going to give you coordinates. You tell me where it is. Sound fun? Okay. So the first one I'd like you to do is 2, -4. 2, -4. Positive 2, -4. Don't take all day about this. Okay. All right, next one is -2, +4. -2, +4. So let me write these down. Okay. All right, so we had -2, which is going to be, I'm sorry, the first one was +2, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You should have a point there. Make sure you do. And you can call that D. That's going to be 2, -4. The other one was -2, +4. So we start at the origin, we bounce back 2, And it was positive 4, so we're going to go up. And you can call that E. All right, you want a tricky one? Sure. 0, 3. Where is 0, 3? Zero means you don't do anything in the x, and then you just simply go up in the y. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we'll call that, what letter are we on? F. Okay, last one. 2, 0. Where is 2, 0? Did you get it? Good. All right, 2, 1, 2, 0 means you don't go anywhere, so G is here. Which quadrant has the most points in it? Which quadrant has the most points in it? Careful, make sure you give it to me in a Roman numeral. I'll give you a hint. If a point lies on the x-axis or the y-axis, it is not in a quadrant. If it lies on the x or the y, it's not in any quadrant. So this one only has 1. This one has 1. This one has 1. Quadrant 4 has 2 points. So quadrant 4 would win. Good. Nice. Okay, great. Next page. I told you this would be fun. Okay, so the next page looks like, well, the next couple of pages kind of all look the same, but they're each one is a little bit different. So let's do this together. Okay, so I want you to write x and y over here. Okay, and then I'll just make this a little darker for you. Okay, all right, and I want you to write the ordered pair 3, 5, and then I want you to write 0, 0, and -3, -5. Okay, can you copy that down? Okay, notice there's no x and y axis on here. We have to put that in. So what you do is you look, and we have positives, negatives, and a 0. So I would put my axes right in the middle. Okay? Sometimes if these were all positives, I might slide it over so it's more like this. But because I'm going to have to plot both, okay, I'm going to put, remember, just positive y and positive x. Somebody asked a question about engineering. Yes, actually, I do pick my coordinate axes in engineering to make the math easier. But that's a trick you're going to learn much later. Okay, so what do we do now? So now we're going to plot these points. Well, where's the 1 and the 2 and the 3? You have to put those in. Okay, so it's up to you. Do you want to put in a tick mark every box? See, we only have to go as high as 3 on the x-axis. And by the way, the spacing between the ticks on the x does not have to match the spacing on the y. For the beginning, I'm going to make it match just so it's easier to read. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do every other, but it's up to you what you would like to do. This is +1, +2, +3, -1, -2, -3. Okay, and then we have 5s. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, I better do it differently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that I said that, I'm. You know what? I'm gonna make it every. Just because this is our first graph. Okay, we'll get fancy in a little bit. All right, so each one of those will be a 1 now. Now that I've said that, I'll have to edit this. All right, so that's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's plot some points. I'll race you. Tell me when you're ready. You ready? Okay, let's go. So remember, x is first, and then y. Okay, so 3, 5 is 1, 2, 3. 5 goes up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and you don't need an A, B, or C. Just plop it in. 0, 0, that's like the easiest ever to plot, right? You just put it right on the origin. You're already done? Okay, and then -3, -5. Careful with these. 1, 2, 3. to the left, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. Can you get a ruler and connect them? I'll use a different color. Okay, connect them like this. Put an arrowhead on either end, and you're done. You just plotted a line with some points. How do you know it's a line? That's a good question. You don't. Sometimes it will be a shape, and the only way you know is by plotting enough points to give you a sense of how big it is. I'm going to tell you the ones we're going to do right now are lines. I think there's only one that's not. All right, you ready? Here's your next set. Any questions here? Okay, here we go. X and Y. Please plot 1, 4, 2, 2, 3, 0, 4, minus 2. And don't worry about memorizing that. It's all written right there. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to do mine too. Okay, and because there's only one, -2, I might actually scoot this so it's like that. But you can do it however you want. Okay, so let me know if you need help. Yeah, you can put arrowheads on both set of axes. Okay. Yeah, we don't get into 3D in this class, and you'll get there if it's in your future. Okay, so 1, 4, watch me if you need help. X first. You go 1 to the right, and then go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Why didn't we study this first? Because we're going to combine a lot of stuff we've already been doing together. Oh, I didn't actually want to write that coordinate on there. Sorry about that. Try to talk and do your math at the same time is sometimes challenging. Okay, here we go. 3, 0, 4, minus 2. Okay. All right, how are you looking? How's your graph looking? Oh, look at me. I found an error. I plotted the wrong point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. There's my correct point. There we go. So yeah, if you plot a point and it doesn't lie on your line, you know there's a problem. And that's okay. In math, it's totally fine to make mistakes. We just need to be able to fix them. Does your graph look like mine? Okay, where does this intercept the x-axis? Where does that orange line? At what point does it intercept the x-axis? Okay, so the x-intercept is where where y equals 0. That's going to be at this point here, which is 3, 0. It's not always one of the data points that you plot, okay? But this is called the x-intercept. Good. And we have a y-intercept, but mine's off the graph, so we'll talk about that later. Good. Yeah, you can't just write 3. Good question. You have to write, because we don't know what that means. 3 what? 3 hamsters, 3 chocolate bars, 3 pizzas, 3 minutes before we're done with math class. You have to put parentheses, 3, 0. That gives me a location. Good questions, guys. Good questions. Okay, what if I don't give you a data table, but I give you something else? Dun, dun, dun. All right, take a sip of water while I'm getting this ready for you. Okay, got your sip? Okay, oh, third point is what you meant. Okay, great. Excellent. I know, it's always a bit of a challenge, like, wait, what did you mean? To put everything in a chat. So much easier if we were live. And I have a funny story for you today, so let's earn it. Okay, so we have an equation, but no data points. What do you do? Okay, you're gonna pick values of x, and here's a secret. Pick easy ones. Don't say x is equal to 13. Make easy ones. So the first one I would do is x equal to 0. What is y when x is equal to 0? So 3 times 0 would be 0. What's left? Minus 2. You see how easy that is? Okay, so that's what I want you to do. So we're going to do this one together, and then you'll do one on your own. Okay, so this becomes a negative 2. So you put a 0 in here. 3 times 0 is 0. That goes away. We have a minus 2. Good. What if I put up 1? 3 times 1 is 3. So 3 minus 2 is, you see how easy that is? Good. What about a negative 1? Can you do that? Okay, well, 3 times negative 1 is minus 3. Minus 3 minus 2 is, anyone? Hey, minus 5. Good. Okay, last one. Positive 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is, that's right. All right, I'll give you 8-second head start, and then I'm going to start graphing. Let's see who wins. How many points should you plot? That's a good question. For a line, I would do at least 3. We're doing 4 because this is the first time we're doing it. Okay. So I see a minus 5 here. I'm just going to put this guy right in the middle. Positive x, positive y. All right, here we go. 0, comma, minus 2. Whoops. 0, comma, I went the wrong way. 0, comma, minus 2 is going to be here. 1, comma, 1. Minus 1, comma, minus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a 2, comma, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, connect the dots, put arrowheads on the end of that line, and give me a big fat grin when you're done. Okay, check to make sure yours looks like mine. Your line is not going through the origin. And tell me what the y-intercept is. So where it strikes the y-axis. Y-intercept is when x is 0, so it doesn't move, so it stays on the y-axis, and we actually have that data point. Okay. In the future, you will be able to tell me what the x-intercept is. And those of you who are pretty sharp can probably figure it out. X-intercept is when y is 0, so you'll put a 0 there and solve this equation for x, and that will give you the x-intercept. Which is going to be 2/3. But don't worry about that now. That's much more complex. Good. Yeah, it's not 1, comma 0. Do you see how it's not really going through the 1? So the x-intercept is when this is equal to y, and then you solve this equation for x. But don't worry about that now. Don't worry about it. That was like a sneak peek into your future. All right, everyone happy with this? Okay. So take a look at the page before. Do you notice how this line starts low and then goes up here? And then this line starts high and goes low? Okay. And look at this one. This one starts low and goes high. All right, so if you imagine, where are my kids that love snow skiing? Yeah, that wouldn't be me. All right, you got to start on the left. If you're snow skiing, is this easy or hard? This is hard, right, to go up a mountain. But if you're snow skiing and you start here, how fun is this? Yeah, whee! Okay, so we have a positive slope and a negative slope. And we're going to learn more about that in the upcoming weeks. So what do we think about this one? You start over here. Is this a positive or negative? Positive is hard. Positive slope. Yep. Somebody's asking, in the future, do I have to plot points or can I do it straight from the equation? You will be able to do it straight from the equation after you get good at this. Okay, but not yet. We're not quite there yet. You guys are asking good questions. All right, what about this one? What if you have one of these? Okay, x and y. What points would you pick for x? Tell me what you think good choices would be. That was a double black diamond. Yes, I think so. All right, 1, excellent. 0. Excellent. I would do 0 first. Okay. What else might you do? Somebody said 6. Why did you pick 6? Why would you pick 6? Yep, we can do 2. Somebody said 2. And also somebody said -2. Great, we'll do those. All right, let's find out. If x is 0, what happens to this? Okay, so this goes away. This is a -6. So just look, 6 over 2 is 3. Is it positive or negative? Yeah, only one of these is negative, so you got to remember the sign. Okay, it's real easy to make mistakes here, so go slow, go slow. If there's a 6 here, 6 minus 6 is what on top? Yeah, we just found both of our intercepts. Look. Good. Okay, because this is a 6 on the bottom. I'm sorry, 6 minus 6 is a 0, so there's nothing. All right, what about the 2? 2 minus 6, would it be helpful if I actually wrote this out so you don't have to do it in your head? So 2 minus 6 over 2. Does that help? So don't worry about that yet. This is a -4 over 2 is a 4 over 2 is 2. There's only one negative sign, so it's negative. That's a -2. Let's do the -2. -2 minus 6 over 2. Okay, so I'm just putting a -2 into that x. Okay, do the top first. What do you get on top? Okay, take your time with this. This is the place where people make mistakes, right here. They go tripping and snowballing and avalanching themselves down the mountain. All right, both signs are the same, so we add them together and we make sure the sign is there. This is a +2 on the bottom. So the negative is still here. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay. How was that? Easier when you write it out, huh? Okay, so tell me, what does your graph look like? Okay, let's make sure I did all that right. Somebody asked, do you mind making mistakes? I hate it. Oh, I don't mind at all. In fact, I like it because I can learn something. It teaches me something that I've overlooked. So yeah, I don't mind making mistakes at all. Oh, do I get embarrassed? Oh, honestly, with all the stuff that's happened on stage over the years, it's hard to embarrass anymore. I think I told you the time I walked out on stage with my little fluffy slippers still on in front of like 300 people. My assistant was trying to wave her arms like, look down, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Let's just go. Let's go. We're a little bit late. Let's go, because I'm a very punctual person. Like, I start on time, whether or not you're here. Not always a great thing with an audience, but yeah. And she kept waving at me, and I looked down. And I'm like, oh no! But I had already introduced myself. I'm Aurora. Today we're gonna be. And I looked down. I'm like, oh. So yeah, you just get used to it. It's a skill. All right, I'd prefer things don't happen, but you know. All right, did that give you enough time? Tell me about the slope. Is this one easy or hard if you're a snow skier and you're starting here on the left and you're going to go this way? Yeah, that's hard, huh? That's your positive slope. Yeah. This is going to be hard, right? So this is why we have chairlifts. Okay, good. So did you get this graph? Yes or no? You did. Okay, great. Do you have any questions? Let's pause here for a quick intermission, and you're going to grab a sip before we move on to the final part of the class. How do you like the content so far? Isn't today like fun? I know, so much more fun. So much fun. Okay. Let's see. There's only one more page. We're on page 3, right? Yep, this was page number 3. Okay, ask me questions. Okay, ask me questions. All right, what quadrant doesn't have any, does the line not go through? Anybody tell me? What quadrant does the line not go through? Quadrant number 2. That's right. So if you have trouble, quadrant 1 is always the positive xy, and then just write a little arrow that it goes counterclockwise. Because it's just easy to forget. Easy to forget. So this one doesn't go through quadrant number 2. Good. Good. We will be using the quadrant stuff a little bit later when we get into pre-calculus. So just kind of throwing it a little your way. Good. Okay. Take a quick stretch. And now we have 2 more. One of the things I want you to notice is look at this equation. Do you see how it's just x? So what exponential power is that x to? Does anybody remember exponents? 5 squared. Yeah. If there's nothing written, what do we assume that power is? That's right, it's to the first power, okay, which isn't that exciting. It's important, though, because that tells us, because this is not x squared or x cubed or x to the 15th, it tells us the shape that we can expect. And for the first power, we call those linear equations. So linear. Linear equations are always a straight line. And anytime you have a positive 1 for the exponent, you will get a linear equation. So that's how you can tell how many data points you need. For this one, also x to the first, right? It's just 1x. I'm going to expect a linear equation. Somebody's asking, can you expect which way the positive or negative slope? Yes, we're going to get to that later. But yes, okay? If x is positive, you're going to have a positive slope. But we'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. All right, if you have questions that didn't get answered, you know where to reach me, Aurora at superchargedscience.com. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.